Episode 200. Welcome to Hardheaded Podcast. I'm your host, Chet Sears. With me, as always, Matt, Amos, and Troy Trussell.
Yo, kicking it over here.
We've made it.
We're just going to have a wonderful conversation like we always do. We're so glad you joined us for episode 200. What a milestone. About a week ago, I did some research to figure out how many podcasts last to 200 episodes. And you know what I found out? Nothing. I could not find any good information that says these
I thought you were at least going to give us a percentage.
Nah, there's nothing out there, man, because I guess it's so unheard of. What a milestone. This is a four-year journey.
Yeah.
And plus. Yeah. So that's awesome.
Didn't we start? Yeah,
no, 3.5.
We started in 2020, or did we start in 2019?
We sat down to record episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4 in December of 2019. We didn't release them until January of 2020.
That's right.
Prime time COVID.
That's right.
So we are glad you're listening.
Yeah.
You keep us in the game.
All of our millions of followers.
It's
and listeners.
Of the millions of podcasts out there, we're up there, baby.
We're up there, top 10.
We're up there. And we appreciate every bit of your ratings, reviews, interactions. It's quite fun. So today we're going to give you a little bit of an update on some current events, and then we're going to get into our top 3 things that we like about hosting a podcast. And Matt will close us out with a good word after all of those fun things. But
all of those good times, I'm going to bring the word.
Yeah, that's great. But we'll sit in on the episode 200 discussion here for a little bit. Like, what do you guys think, man?
The world as of today went straight into turmoil today. Craziness. We've got floods in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Just decimating the area.
Yeah.
I saw something today that this was worse than Katrina level type stuff. I don't know if that's true yet.
Can they tell yet?
They
might have a pretty good idea, but I mean, that's just what I saw.
In deaths or
damage.
I don't know. It's going to be hard to tell. They're still not dug out. There's one
still
of the,
up there, still raining. It's still
no.
It's cleared.
Yeah, one of the, yes. But one of the things, they don't have cell coverage yet in some of those areas. And just for our listeners' sake, we're recording this on Tuesday, going to be released on Friday or Thursday. But as of right now, some of the places still don't have cell coverage. And some of the people are saying, just wait until the people that survived that haven't been rescued yet get to the point where they could share what they have on their phone recorded, because we don't know. They can't send it out. There's no coverage.
Oh, yeah.
But there are many, many, many deaths that we're not aware of yet, just because, I mean, houses got swept away.
And it was fast. It wasn't like all of a sudden they didn't have time to even leave. Now,
I will tell you that there was ample warning. A lot of the meteorologists in the area, because there's a couple things that happened. Number one, this isn't all from the hurricane. They had some record rainfall the days leading up to before the hurricane hit, where everything was full. The lakes were full. There were spillways were open, not related to anything hurricane. And then they knew the rain from the hurricane was coming, so they were telling people, we are going to have catastrophic flooding. It is going to be, the 2 big floods they had in the area, one in 1940 and one in 1916. It's going to be worse than that. So take caution, be prepared. But I still don't think people had any idea what that meant. Like, there's some dams that gave way, some that didn't, that they predicted that would. But towns just wiped out.
I saw one video, a whole double wide was just floating down the street.
There's more than double wides. There's just straight up foundation houses that got swept off their foundation.
Wow.
I watched one today where it's a little community, and there are people standing on the edge of where the river is now, and there's a house that it's halfway flooded up, and they're yelling like, get out, and this old lady jumps out of her window, and then the house gets swept away. She's going down river wearing a life jacket. Like, she put a life jacket on and jumped out of the window of her house into the river. And then there was a guy that had a canoe that was trying to get to her, but the current was so fast he couldn't. So he jumped out of his canoe and swam to her and pulled her back. And the lady filming this, like, they're all neighbors, like they all know each other. She's crying, like just sobbing about almost losing her neighbor. But they ended up rescuing her, which it didn't happen in many, many cases. And there are probably still people out there that are trying to get in touch with their loved ones, but I don't watch mainstream news at all anymore, so I don't know if this is getting any coverage or not, but it's devastating. So my sister and brother-in-law live in Hickory, North Carolina, which is about 45 minutes from Boone. Boone, major flooding. Our buddy Winkler got his shop flooded. There's just like a sandy floor in there because it so much sediment got washed in. But yeah, crazy. And no, as of Tuesday, no government FEMA support. It's mostly local. The Cajun Navy showed up from Louisiana. They have it wasn't Katrina when the Cajun Navy came about. What was the hurricane? It's like 2016. They started mobilizing and going and launching boats and rescuing people. I'm pretty sure. You're gonna Google that?
Yeah, I'll look it up.
When did the Cajun Navy? Maybe it was Katrina. I don't know. But they showed up. So they're organized, but they're citizens. It's not it's not like a FEMA response. There are people that started using their own helicopters to go in there and rescue people, and the local sheriff's department and
2016.
What storm was it?
It doesn't say. It just says they started and Cajun Navy fills a void.
But they're grounding helicopters that are trying to help because the FAA's saying some stuff and whatever else, which is crazy. But there are people. I mean, could meds? You don't have access to anything. You can't leave. There's no roads in or out. Your infrastructure's down. No cell coverage. No power. No water. It's all gone. All of it. Man, it's devastating. Crazy. Crazy. Like even just like lake houses. The lakes rose so much that like the boathouse or their boat docks all broke free and washed out to the nearest bridge or went over the spillway. Crazy. You guys see some of those videos I sent you?
I did.
Yeah.
And I texted some mutual friends that you were talking about, and they said they're fine.
One of them, KH.
Yep.
He didn't respond to me.
Said he didn't respond to me either. His wife did.
Oh, okay.
And said we were okay. We had some flooding of down trees and power lines, but nothing affecting our home. We still have no power, but at least we have a generator and our basic needs are covered.
Yeah. So basic needs. I mean, what would you guys be prepared for that?
I think all my stuff would be washed away. I mean, if I had, if I wasn't.
Well, let's just say you weren't next to the river, but you're in a town.
Yeah, I would be.
You'd be okay.
Sufficient for at least
food. You have a way to purify water.
Yep.
And whether that's fuel or chemically treated, which is something I updated not too long ago and got some tablets.
Little iodine or.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You, Troy, you good to go?
I'd be good for about a month right now.
Yeah. Okay.
But
that's good.
We're keeping that plan going.
Things ought to
You know, it would really help right there.
Shaking out in about a month.
What's that?
That water purification. We talked about it. The old Berkeley.
Yeah.
Man, you just bring in some of that water that's rushing in and fill that little thing up, and you get yourself fresh water.
Dude, that takes up too much space and is way too expensive.
It is expensive, but it's good water.
Yeah.
So at the same time, we got all of this catastrophe going on, and the federal government still hasn't sent any FEMA response down there. And they've been saying they're going to do some stuff, and they're trying to figure out what they're going to do.
Well, yeah.
You know, what I mean, you can talk about it or you can actually do something. I mean, don't talk about it, be about it is kind of my motto.
All along that line, Florida, I mean, it's a hurricane, right? So Florida got hit, Georgia got flooded, Tennessee, and the western North Carolina, eastern Tennessee. DeSantis came out and said, we got Florida taken care of, so whatever federal response needs to go to North Carolina, they're in worse shape than we are. North Carolina has a lack of leadership, like Florida does not.
Right.
So you got to be careful who you elect in your state and local elections too.
Makes a difference when things start going downhill.
Big time. So yeah, all that's going on. Then what?
Then, as of today, this morning, we have Iran that's launching missiles at Israel.
Which is a pretty big deal. Because.
And why is that?
Israel's been being attacked, but they've been attacked by two different groups.
Hamas?
Hezbollah and Hamas.
Which are both terrorist groups.
Right. And now we have a sovereign state, a nation, that is directly firing upon another
Somebody
nation.
that, oh my goodness, you can go attack.
So, everything you call a proxy war, that Iran was funneling money into these terrorist organizations, and the terrorist organizations were attacking. U.S. does that too, by the way. So don't.
Right. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. All the time.
But then now they're just outright bombing them. Pretty good idea, the way they have money for this. The Iran to have, I think the total was 180 ballistic missiles they fired so far today.
Supersonic ballistic missiles.
You could kind of do a little money trail back to Joseph Biden, freeing up the sanctions and giving Iran money, put them in a financial position where they have munitions, and now they're attacking one of our enemies. I mean, one of our allies. Yeah. So that's scary, stupid.
So our president,
our foreign policy has allowed Iran to be in a much better financial position to leverage
missiles
war. Yeah.
And so, they got the money to do it. Why wouldn't they do it?
Yeah, there's another report where they're like sending $40 million a month to the Taliban, the U.S. government. That came out on Sean Ryan's podcast.
What?
I haven't seen that.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man.
Why? What are they doing?
So we can go to war again.
So they can fuel up all of the equipment that we left them. Like here's $40 million. Go fill up those tanks. Go fill up those Humvees. Get some ammo for those guns we left you. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So it's so funny because it's all coming to like we're talking about they're attacking Israel. Now you've got Democrats and Republicans saying we need to stand up for Israel. So what is the U.S.'s support going to be beyond just words? How far is Iran going to take it? And then you have Israel at the same time that sent troops into Lebanon. So they're like ground troops into Lebanon. I mean, we're talking, it could potentially be a global situation shortly.
Well,
yeah.
Israel has said that Iran will pay.
Well, they're going to
major missile attack.
And what's so surprising to me is, so that new app, Threads, I don't know, have you seen?
Oh, yeah.
It's like the liberal version of Twitter.
It's the old Twitter.
Or X. Well, it's the new X, right? For liberals. Yeah. So you go on there, and the only reason I'm on there is just to throw a wrench.
What's the name of this?
Threads.
It's Instagram.
No, it's Instagram's messaging system.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It is Instagram.
Well, it might be Instagram, but it's like it's their version of X. So
Right.
Yeah. But it's Instagram.
It came out.
It's like
a while
Facebook
ago.
Messenger, but
no, this is Threads.
It's like Twitter.
yeah, but it's Instagram.
Right, but it's not like messaging.
Anyway,
this is
just-
make
Yeah.
a post, right? But it's all
But I'm saying like Facebook Messenger, like you're like, oh, they have this new thing called Messenger. I'm like, no, it's part of Facebook, and that's part of Instagram.
yes.
Okay.
But it's like their response to
It's
X.
not like this
You're
new-
focusing on the wrong thing, Chet. Anyway,
Yeah,
So
how you're wrong.
it's this whole liberal, like it's just constant, just liberal people that are just commenting. And so I jump in there and I'm like, hey, no, just to throw a wrench because they're in these little sounding echo chambers of everybody that has the same opinion. And so they had one guy that's like, Iran, totally has the right to defend themselves.
From what?
It's like, what? Like, how wrong can you people be? Like, it's so dumb that there's these idiots that live in our country that are this stupid. How are they born? Like, I don't understand. Like, because your parents had to be stupid. You know what I mean? And it's like, for you to have that low of an IQ of what actually goes on. But, yeah, so I mean, you got that going on. What else is going on today? It seemed like today everything just kind of came crashing down a little bit.
Yeah.
We got Iran, Israel,
Yeah.
the floods.
Yeah. Vice presidential debate tonight.
Ooh, we got that tonight. We got to get out of here so I can go watch that. That's gonna be good.
Yeah.
VP debate. Nice.
Been looking forward to that. Let's just see if they can keep the gloves up.
Yeah. We'll see. I think Tim Walz is going to get his clock cleaned.
Maybe
He's got a short temper, and I don't think he does good with logic.
most.
And
I'm going to say this: most of the left is not logic.
yeah, I'm there. I'm with you.
Did y'all hear Vance on the Tucker Carlson tour?
No.
I'll listen to it. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
He knows how to handle himself.
That's what I'm saying.
for
He's
sure.
collected, he's calculated, and he doesn't get emotional.
No.
And
And he's great in front of a crowd.
those three things, Tim Walz is not.
Yeah.
Did you see that clip I sent you where he was at the Michigan football game? And he's walking out of the tunnel, and some fan, like right above the tunnel, is like, Trump 2024. And Walz flips him off. Like, that was from this past weekend. I mean,
Classy.
Like, yeah. Like, can
Classy
you
dude right
But
there.
that's how far we've descended in American politics.
Oh, absolutely.
That's where we're at. It's sad,
Yeah.
but that's where we're at.
not? So here's the other thing. And I don't want to make this a prediction. I will. Just October 7th is right around the corner. It's Monday, and that's the first anniversary of the October 7th attacks in Israel, where people came across the border and just started shooting civilians, women, children, grandmothers, grandfathers, men.
That was at that concert, wasn't it?
That was one of the places. They came across in several places. But yeah, people at concerts, they're just going and killing people. There are a few theories, and if you go back and look here recently, government officials have been saying that they feel that there may be an imminent terrorist attack in the U.S. And if you look at the open borders that we've had and the people coming across, if they were to act and they were any relation to any of these nefarious Middle East organizations, Monday would be a good day for them to do it because they typically try to line up on anniversaries.
And it's so crazy because the world, like I said, the world is in absolute turmoil right now.
Yeah.
And the United States, we're on the verge of being screwed. Because one of the other things that I forgot to mention was the strike
Oh, we need to talk a little bit more about that.
of the longshoremen. That could shut down.
That is shutting down. Before we get to that, what I'm saying about this October 7th stuff is like for people here and not at like landmarks, but like just wherever they are.
Right.
I think it's going to be widespread. Whenever it does happen, it'll be widespread. It'll be lone gunmen just shooting up random civilians all over the country, all on the same day.
They had that in Israel just a couple days ago. I don't know if you.
Technically, it was yesterday. But they
As we're
Tel Aviv,
recording.
they did it. They
Yeah.
shot a whole bunch of people, and then the missiles started coming that night.
Yep.
So, Longshoreman. Our ports are shut down from Maine to Texas. It's not affecting the West Coast right now. They're on strike. You know why?
So when you say from Maine to Texas, that's all around the border?
Yeah.
The east
Well,
border.
coastal ports.
And through the, all the way through the Gulf to
Texas.
wow.
Yeah.
That's going to hurt.
Yeah, but, you got to stand up for the union guys that are striking, right?
I don't understand all that crap.
Their contract is up.
So they're negotiating. What are they negotiating for?
I know what the offer was, and they had two hangups. Pay. The pay increases weren't enough, and the company's been moving to automate a lot of the moving of containers on the docks.
So that gets rid of jobs, right?
Their jobs. It doesn't get rid of jobs. It gets rid of their jobs. There are going to be people that need to maintain the equipment, build the automation, control the automation, all the stuff. So it's not getting rid of jobs in general. It's just shifting the work from manual labor to technical labor, if you want to put it that way. So the offer from the companies, the what the union is fighting was that over the next 6 years, you will get a 50% pay increase, and we will keep the same language we have towards automation as the contract that you had last year, or last contract, which was 6 years ago. And the employees, the union, came back and demanded the 50% is too low. We need a 77% pay increase over the next 6 years, and no automation. Like, just, you got to say we're not going to automate.
Wow.
And they're not. I think they're yielding on the pay. So okay, you said 50, we said 77. We'll take 61.5, but you can't automate. Like, you can't get into new technology, basically, which is kind of where UPS has been. The difference between UPS and FedEx is UPS won't allow automation in their warehouses, and FedEx does. And I don't know if you noticed, there's a whole lot more FedEx trucks on the road than there are UPS trucks, but their union is fighting its automation as well. So do you want to know what the base pay is for the longshoremen?
I mean, if they're getting a 50%, I mean, that's huge.
Where it is right now? No, like what they're making right now?
Yeah, I don't know what they're making right now. No,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying a 50% increase on any of if that's an annual salary, is huge.
Yeah.
What is it?
$81,000 a year, not counting overtime. Most of them work crazy amounts of overtime and make around $200,000 when you factor in overtime. And they want
more.
They want a 77% increase over the next 6 years. So 6 years from the day they sign the contract, they will be at, in increments. They will end up 77% higher than
So like 12% a year or something.
80%, their $81,000 base salary, which also factors into their overtime. So they're already making six figures, and they're wanting 77% increase in that because of inflation. And you can't automate. Like that's what their demands are. And so the guy that's their union president, what's his name? There's a picture of him on that article you're just reading.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say the mob boss.
He does have ties to the mob.
I was looking for it.
Alleged ties.
Alleged.
Yeah.
I don't see the name.
Anyway,
There was a picture, but it's gone.
yeah, find him. You want to know what his base pay is?
It's going to make me
Like
sick.
$728,000 or something like that.
For one of his union jobs,
And then the other one is
$128. He makes $900,000 a year.
And
$900,000.
and he's
a
going
year.
on strike and he wants a raise.
Everybody should go on strike he's representing them because they're not getting paid fairly is his, and they're trying to get rid of their jobs by technology advancing. I mean, it's crazy. And he's like, everybody in this country will know who we are after this, because he wants to take away all the stuff we're wanting to buy because it won't be able to be shipped in. Like it's a disaster. It's a disaster. I've got opinions on unions that I'll refrain from.
Is it Boyce Butler?
No.
I've never understood unions. Why do we even have them?
Today?
Yeah. Period.
Why we have them now originally was very valuable because there were definitely some abuses by companies on how many hours you'd work somebody in a day, whether or not you did get overtime pay, all kinds of stuff.
So unions were formed to combat,
to protect the worker. Now, my experience working in a union shop as an hourly employee, I point, hey, you need to join the union. I was like, what does the union give me? And they're like, well, you get overtime pay. I'm like, I get overtime pay without the union. Well, you get health insurance. I get health insurance without the union. Well, you get, holidays. I'm like, yeah, every employer in the U.S. today gives overtime pay. That's actually law. It's not, it's like, and then what do you get from me? Oh, we take 2 hours of your paycheck every month. You got to pay us 2 hours worth of your labor.
The union?
Yeah.
You have to pay the union?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's how the money
union
that this guy makes is coming from the union members.
Oh,
the
well,
union dues.
That's why he's telling everybody what to do.
Yeah, his job goes away. He just sold a 72-foot yacht.
Harold Daggett.
Daggett. Daggett.
See, and again, like here we are.
It's all about money and power and greed.
That's
all it is.
That's where it is now, definitely, from what I've seen, especially with these longshoremen.
So what's going on in Wichita with the Textron Beechcraft, all that stuff?
Yeah, they're on strike as well, too. I haven't dug into that.
I just see them on the side of the road. I'm like, want to roll down my window and say, go to work.
Yeah. Well, technically, if they're a part of a union, they can't go to work because they voted to strike, and you have to abide by that.
It's so freaking stupid. I don't understand it.
Well, and one of the things that happens when you break a strike, so if you do negotiate a settlement with the employer, they typically negotiate that you pay the employee for the work that they didn't do while they were on strike. So basically they're living without a paycheck right now, and the union will take some of the dues that you've paid them to make sure that you have groceries. So they say. The strike that I was involved with a long time ago, that never happened. Like they just if somebody had a bill to pay, they would work with each other. The union never cut money to the union members. Not to say that that's not happening here, but just in my experience. But I've had some vehicle damage from going to work when they didn't want me to. Long time ago.
Vehicle damage.
Oh yeah.
And and here we are. They're making over twice what the average pay is for a normal American citizen. Because I think the normal is about $36,000 is the normal average salary in the U.S. And so here they are, coming up on almost 3 times that. And now we have a East Coast that's been decimated, and so now they're hurting those people because we're not going to be able to get them the supplies that they need, depending on how long this strike goes. Yeah. And now you have basically essentially a mob boss saying, hey, screw you guys. You're going to feel our wrath, basically.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if you hear him speak,
yeah, it's like, dude,
he is
you need to be taken out, man. Like I said, because you sent me
taken out to dinner, removed from office,
taken from his position. Because you can't do that to American citizens. You just can't.
Yeah, and so this is coming from one of the local media stations there. Well, no, it's an AP article that was released today, but they said that a lengthy shutdown is going to raise prices on goods around the country and potentially cause shortages and price increases
And
big and small retailers alike, especially during the holiday season.
So we got Christmas coming up. Prices are going to be more expensive for Christmas. We've also got inflation already that's out of control, and this is going to add to it. I mean, all you're doing is hurting the average American, and your guys that you're representing are already better off than the average American.
Well,
so
and one of the
screw all of you.
One of the reasons, like, why did you go on strike? And he's like, well, the administration that we currently have today is very favorable towards this type of activity. And I mentioned several months ago or several episodes ago, no presidential administration has had more strikes occur during their time than the current one. Like the union strikes are at a record pace, and it's not helping our economy one bit.
Yeah, because they're going to cave.
I don't know, man. Once you start releasing details of the contract, and that typically comes from the companies as opposed to the union, because the union doesn't want you to know that the people that say they're not getting paid fairly are making $200,000 a year. So once that information starts getting out there, then that's a little bit on the hardball side of the companies that are negotiating against the union. Like, oh, you want to get sympathy from the rest of the country? They're not going to get their goods and services. What they do have and what they do get is going to cost more because the supply's not there, so the demand's greater and your prices go up. And the people that are saying they're not getting enough are making $200,000 a year.
Right.
So
why can't the companies just say, screw the union and start hiring other people that want to work?
So there's a couple factors that are in there, and I don't know what the laws are in every one of those states, but the primary reason that they have a picket line is and this goes back to history of unions, they will come after you. That's why my truck got banged up.
And that's why they got barricades on all the
They don't want you in. Like you'd be a
here.
scab. Yeah. And so physical harm.
I
Like
mean,
they're going to come after you.
yeah.
And
Haven't you seen the replacements with Keanu Reeves? When the football players went to try to go in, and
that's a documentary.
And they tipped
That's not a movie. That's a documentary.
They tipped those cars over.
Yeah.
They tipped old Falco's car over. Come on, man.
do.
It's the same thing.
No, but I went in.
It's basically kind of like domestic terrorism.
It is.
It's a
They
form of
strong
domestic
arm
terrorism.
you. They strong arm you into trying. So I crossed the picket line. There were Griff, you guys know Griff. He was bringing somebody, an hourly worker in his vehicle, and he had a beautiful Blazer, and they like kicked in the door, all kinds of stuff. And the cops are in a union as well. The Fraternal Order of Police. They're sympathetic. They just sat there and watched it all happen. Didn't stop anybody from doing anything.
because they're in a union.
And that's my assumption. And we ended up filing police reports on the damage to our vehicles. And so they were able to identify, based on some video, the guy that kicked in the door of Griff's vehicle. And so the company pressed charges against that individual. He pled no contest and, had to do community service or something like that. I don't know. And then they couldn't identify who did the damage to my truck, which what they did is they had a nail, in like a picket sign. They drove a nail into the bottom part of the wood, and somebody leaned against my truck while I was driving through. I could hear it. And from headlight to tail light, they had to do body work on my truck. It wasn't like a scratch on the paint. They had they dented. I mean, it went deep all the way down the side of my truck while I was driving through. And yeah, it's just so that's what they do. Like that's how people just can't go to work, is because they're going to mess with you. And this guy, with his history, he's been indicted several times, never been convicted, but for some
Where there's
activity.
smoke, there's fire.
With some mafia activity. And if you look at people are referring to him as the gold chain because he wears this big, thick gold chain and has this accent or whatever. He's a mean guy. It's not good.
Oh, man.
A lot of volatility out there for episode 200.
It's crazy time. It's crazy time in the old Earth, the old globe.
I feel like it's just ready to blow.
It might
any minute.
It might.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and California passed a law that made it illegal to
Voter
require
ID.
ID to vote.
I saw that. That was a good move on their part.
Yeah.
Wait, illegal?
It is illegal to require somebody in California to prove they're a citizen before they vote.
Oh my God.
How more obvious can you be?
Old Gavin Newsom.
That guy.
That guy needs to be taken out of his office too.
This country's going down.
Oh.
And we're watching it
The
happen.
literal worst administration in the history of the United States. This is the most crazy thing.
Do you still have respect for him,
What do you mean?
Matt?
I have respect for the office. I don't have respect for him.
There you go.
I have respect for the office.
Just checking.
Okay. All right, we done with all
he's,
the...
like I said, he's a decent guy, just not a good leader, man. Nice guy, but terrible leader.
I don't know if he's nice anymore. He's kind of senile.
Well, that doesn't mean he's not nice.
He's
a
kinda mean.
senile old man.
That-
Hey, who's next? Give me who's next.
Somebody did ask about the strikes from Iran, like the missile strikes. And to his benefit, I mean, he was outside and he heard the word strike. And so he started, we've talked with both sides and we hope they can reach an agreement. I think he was thinking that they were talking about the Longshoreman Strike.
Oh, I'm sure.
And but they
we
were
talked
talking
to
about
Israel and Iran, and man, we really hope those two work this out.
We'd like them to work it out and everybody get back to work, you know?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. So
That's what we need right now.
Oh, man.
poor guy. All right. Any other current events? Is that enough?
I think we need to stop there.
It's National Taco Day today.
Yeah, I'm National Taco Days, man. National Days. I'm done with National Days.
National Days are kind of dumb, but I'm just saying.
Okay.
It's
What?
You
Isn't
asked.
that Cinco de Mayo?
no, that's
National Margarita Day.
no, that's Cinco de Mayo is Mexican Independence Day,
100% false.
isn't it?
100% false. Mexican Independence Day is September 16th.
You only know that because it's your birthday.
Yeah.
Well, he would know.
But I know. Don't you do Mexican independence. Psh.
Let's see what it is. Celebrates the Mexican victory over the French Empire. Okay, there you
It's
go.
not independent. You do Mexican independence.
Mexican Independence.
Are you trying to figure out
Day
what Cinco de Mayo is, or
It's May 5th.
is September 16th through the September 27th.
There you
so
go.
there you go. Was the Mexican War of Independence.
So they won a battle, Cinco de Mayo.
right against
France.
France.
the Battle of Puebla?
All right. Let's just move on to our top three. Top
Let's
three
do it.
things you like about hosting a podcast. Troy.
Why don't I go first?
Matt.
I think it's a great idea.
Even though this top three was sent to me,
I don't want to hear it. I don't care when it was sent to you.
and
I don't care when it was sent to you, Matt. You wouldn't have done anything with it anyway.
His number one's going to be planning.
Yeah.
Number three, I like having a schedule where when you show up, you know what you're going to talk about. It's a format.
Oh, man.
Most of the time.
You're going to get under my skin here real quick. You better watch where you're treading.
You watch out. I guess number three, it's just kind of fun. I really, I feel like I get filled in on some topics. I learn some things myself,
Yeah.
and I think it's kind of fun because we really don't have groups where we just
we
sit
wouldn't
down.
be doing this if it wasn't, right? I mean, it's not a pain. You're not a pain in the neck that much.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's fun.
Okay.
Number two, I'm not a big talker for the most part. And so I get on here and I talk more than I do anywhere else, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Pretty quiet rest of the time. So this is kind of like where I get to...
Unless you're typing.
Yeah.
what do you mean?
Yeah, you'll zone out.
You're pretty loud.
You're a one-track
No, I
mind.
mean, like he talks a lot on social media.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll talk there. Talk.
Yeah.
In quotes. But yeah, so I get to put my thoughts out here, and then I don't have to hear a response, really, unless it's from you two, which,
Yeah.
I really don't care what you guys say.
You can deflect those really, really easily.
And then number one, it's just fun to kind of get in here and just hang out, have a good time. You know, again, it's fun.
Was that number 3 and number 1 was fun?
It's fun. You know,
No, I think one of them is it's fun doing a podcast. That's the first one, and then the number 1 thing is that he's doing it with us. The hanging out part.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
like the podcast is fun. You can throw ideas out and just have fun doing it because it's fun to share ideas and stuff like that. But it's also good to hang out with mostly good dudes. Or good dudes
Most of the time.
most of the time.
Yeah. However you
And
want to
share
word that.
and share thoughts, even though some of our thoughts may differ.
Yeah.
You know, I think
Somebody's got to be wrong.
Normally, 60% of the time, I'm right every time. But I think like the discussions that we have, even though we disagree with some things, it's the way that a discussion should be had. Because we don't call each other bad names.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we're friendly in the way that we conduct it. And people have said that about us. You know, it's like you're having a real discussion. You know, you guys don't agree on everything, but, you're civil when you have that discussion.
Absolutely.
So
We save the fist fights for when the record button
stops.
is off.
So anyway, that's my 3.
All right, Troy.
Number 3, the snacks.
That's pretty good.
When we do like a top 3 best cupcake or
Yeah.
best or when Chet you bring snacks sometimes, those are
We're gonna pause and have a little conversation about not having a snack today.
right. We don't have one today.
Yeah, but
disappointing.
you had a request, and I have to answer your request with reason and logic.
Okay.
So Matt and I this past weekend got together and made smoked rings.
Smoke rings.
Was what Matt calls them. Sausage is what other people call them. Well, anyway,
Nobody calls it sausage.
you know what it is?
Smoke rings.
Sausage.
Smoke rings.
But I had some deer meat. I had some bison meat, and bought some pork. Matt, you had moose and deer.
And pork.
And he's like, "Hey, I got this recipe. You want to come over and we'll do all this?" So we did. And Matt tried to kill me with this seasoning, this noticeably
It's not
hot.
the first time he's tried to kill you.
But we were talking about it, and Troy's like, "Hey, bring one of those, and I'll see how hot it is at the deal." Well, we made 60 pounds of
Nice.
the smoke rings, 30 for Matt, 30 for me, and
Zero for those counting for Troy.
zero for Troy. Well, what I did,
I wouldn't expect anything less.
what the recipe calls for is that you stuff them and you smoke them to 160 degrees and freeze them. And then whenever you want to consume them, you thaw them out and cook them to 200 degrees and then use them, whatever you're going to do. Well, I had, it's just the whole thing is a process, right? You sit down, you mix the meat, you cube the meat, put the seasoning on, do the grinding, and then we did that on Saturday. And on Sunday, I went back home Saturday night pretty late.
Yeah, it was
And
pretty
then-
late.
So Sunday, got home from church, fired up a smoker, threw it all on, and started vacuum sealing. And I took one link out of that whole process, and I was like, "Oh, I'll cook this one to 200 and taste it and eat it." And that's when I did. And I was like, "Oh, this is hot." By the time you had come around to say, "Hey, I'd love to try one of these," all mine are in the freezer in 2-pound bags. So I'm like, I don't want to thaw out 2 whole pounds of sausage to give Troy a taste. And then how do we cook it right before? We don't have anything to cook it in here. So that's why.
That's
why we didn't bring
So that's
bring
the
you
ticket. So, when you cook it fresh and you smoke it to 160, and then you're like, okay, then I'm going to just kick it up and I'm just going to take it all the way to 200.
Yeah.
It does not have the same consistency as it does after you freeze it
and
and
then
cook it again.
All that to
So,
say, you're going to eat something of mine that's got that stuff in it at some point. I got 30 pounds of sausage.
Yeah.
and it's not. He might be getting weak in his old age, man. Like I know that old people can't really handle heat like they used to, and I think that's what happened here.
My whole deal, it's not too hot for me. but I now have 30 pounds of sausage in my freezer that's too hot for my kids. It's hot.
I literally had the same thing. I had I have one little link that we made that didn't
different. We did 2 different batches, 2 different bags of seasoning. Go ahead.
We can swap if you would like.
I don't know.
But I had one that was left over.
We need to do a
that
blindfold
was just
taste test.
shy of the link that I make to put in the packages about this long, and so I was like, I'll just take that 200 and we'll eat that because we had chili that night, and I was like, I'll just dish this up because my kids love it. And they came in and both my girls ate it. My wife ate it, and she can't really handle a whole bunch of spicy stuff.
I'm telling you, it's different seasoning.
Different batch.
And we all, it's spicy, yes, but it's not to the point where somebody.
So the I tried some that night and the next day for
he
lunch.
texts me and he's like, "Oh, my lips burning 45 minutes later." I'm like,
Yeah.
Weenie.
I had some ghost pepper chili at the chili cook-off.
That's what I told him. It's ghost pepper in here. How did it do?
It was great.
Yeah.
I mean, I was good in 5 minutes. Though.
This lingers. And then Ashley backed me up. I was like, hey, you ought to try this. Didn't say anything. And, so I cut her a little slice and she ate it and she was like, oh, wow, that's good. It's spicy. So anyway, man, snacks. We're back to your number 3, snacks. And that's why you didn't get one.
Where were you guys raised?
Louisiana.
Not you. You were Oklahoma.
I was raised in Louisiana.
Nobody's talking to you.
Shreveport, Louisiana.
And so that's where your sister
Yeah.
Grew up.
was also.
Correct.
Yeah.
You're going to have to try it at some point because
I'll tell you how
Here's
hot
the
it
deal.
is.
Troy just said he ate ghost pepper chili, and you said it was spicy and it was good.
It was good. It had really good flavor. Heat lasts about 5-8 minutes maybe.
Yeah. I'm saying the sausage is good and it's spicy.
it's not that spicy though. That's what I'm saying. Anyway,
I'm telling you, you spiked my batch.
I didn't.
Ghost pepper.
I did no such thing.
Pure capsaicin. You put pure capsaicin in my.
If I had, I would have. If I'd have thought about it, I probably would have. But I even asked you if you wanted more. I was like, because I have like jalapenos to add to it. And I was like, do you want some more? And he's like, no.
Jalapenos are like flavor for me, not spice.
Yeah.
When they're dried like that, it's
Okay. I don't know, man.
It's different.
It's more of a heat than a
flavor.
flavor.
It'll be perfect in dishes. But if you're just eating that thing solo,
it's perfect
you need to like spicy food, which I do, and I did. So watch yourself.
Okay,
all right.
Whatever you say.
I'm sorry, Troy, for going down that rabbit hole.
All right. Number 2 is listening to these 2 grumpy old men argue.
Old men.
Every episode.
Listen, you're older than me.
But y'all are like grumpy old men. I'm reminded of that movie every time I sit down in this chair next to you.
That is kind of funny. He's going to find a dead fish under his seat.
I would say I'm like Burgess Meredith, but I'm not near as old or funny as he is in that movie. So
I don't know that movie. What movie?
Grumpy old man?
Burgess Meredith.
Yeah, he's the old.
He's the dad.
Oh,
of the
that's
old man.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the one that has
I'm a big
always
fan of that movie.
Always drinking the beer.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
That's a great movie.
I like that they like to fish.
Yeah, ice fish.
Ice fishing.
Yeah. And then number 1 is all the money that we've made from this podcast.
Just trillions of
gosh.
dollars.
It's kept my kids fed.
It is amazing.
It's kept the lights on.
No.
Everyone should start their own podcast. It's like hitting the lottery.
That's right. It's
Extremely
so easy.
profitable.
Yeah.
So easy.
Yeah.
No, seriously, number 1 is honestly, I do learn a lot from coming on here. And I've said that before. I don't watch the news. Since I got a new phone, X doesn't even work anymore on my phone. I can't figure it out. So I get my news here.
Verizon was down all day yesterday.
That's right.
So
What did Verizon say about that?
they haven't.
They have not
Wonder
said.
why.
Curious.
Yeah, they didn't say.
It was only on iPhone 14, 15, and 16 versions too.
Guess who has an old iPhone? Booyah!
You had service all day on it
all
too.
day, no issues. Yeah,
But the weird thing is, like Hannah's went out around 9:30,
yeah,
and I still had it because we were together. And then around 10 o'clock, mine went out.
yeah.
It's like it's not a tower thing.
Nope,
It's something else.
something else. A cyber attack,
Yeah.
and now
it
they
had
have
to
all
be
your
that.
data.
No, I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
They already have it all the time anyway.
Whoever
I mean,
did the attack, that's
they-
the thing.
hear everything that we're saying. Right?
No, but I mean, it's like, who did it? It wasn't Verizon that did it. It was some other nefarious, organization.
Nefarious. Yeah.
Now our cell phones are going to start exploding.
This is going to be a long episode. Sorry.
It might.
Worth
it. It's our 200th.
Our original episodes were all over an hour.
I know.
You remember that?
We're at 50 minutes right now.
Kicking it old school.
Number 3, it forces me to do research about certain things. I like to talk off the cuff, but for most of the things that I bring to the table here, I do some research behind it.
And our audience can tell.
Most of the time.
That you research way more than the two of us.
That's correct.
The fact that I do any research shows that I do more than you guys.
I used to do a little bit.
A little bit.
I did.
And then number 2, this is a creative outlet for me. I think one of the amazing things, we do have busy lives, very, very busy lives. Troy runs a small business, and Matt does a lot of travel and runs a small business. And then my travel's really picked up here in the last 2 years. But we've not missed a week in 3.5, almost 4 years.
Yeah.
Of releasing episodes on now Thursday. I don't know if we started on Thursday.
I think Troy might be the only one who has not missed an episode.
Nope, I missed during
COVID.
I didn't miss an episode. We recorded
Chet's the one
4 episodes.
Chet hasn't missed.
We recorded 4 episodes, and then I went into the hospital. And then I got out and got back in the studio before the 4 episodes.
And I didn't even know he was in the hospital till
neither did my son.
Till you were out.
Did you hear this?
No. Stone didn't even know?
No, somebody saw him at church or something. Because when I got sick originally, like, oh, okay, I'm going to isolate myself from the rest of the family. So I just went, we moved one of the chairs into the bedroom and, got a TV set up, and I was just back there being sick and all. And so my kids just kind of went about their own lives with it, Dad's just in the bedroom. Well, the day that I got where I couldn't convert my oxygen and they admitted me into the hospital, I just went up.
They just thought you were still in the room.
And Stone was at church, and they're like, "How's your dad?" Or whatever. And they're like, "Oh, he's fine." And they're like, "Really? I heard he was in the hospital." And he's like, "What? Like, what are you?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Oh man.
Yeah, I was not fine, and I was in the hospital. But
that's so funny.
And even on vacation, Matt, I called in
from North Carolina.
Troy.
That's
I was
right.
in Kentucky. Troy was at home base. And I dialed in on FaceTime, and Troy made that
That's
work.
what we should have done today for our 200th. You know how back in the 80s or the 90s when they would do sitcoms, and you'd sit down to watch a new show, and then they do this, remembering all the best parts of this past year.
Yeah.
I always hated those episodes.
This would have been great. This would have been good. And number 1. Man, we've talked to a lot of really cool people, and I've had the opportunity to meet people I would have not had an opportunity to ever cross paths with. Bob Hamer, Jim Kelley, Anthony Marquez, Josh Sust. I already knew Jeff Turner, but bringing Jeff Turner in, and there's plenty others that I'm not mentioning. But
had our dads on.
Your dad?
Didn't your dad come on?
No, that was our other podcast. Years and years ago.
Oh.
In 2015. Long time ago.
Oh, man.
So, anyway, we have. It's been neat meeting and talking to some of these people. I had somebody just come up, Terry, one of the guys that goes to church with us, and said, man, I just came across that Jeff Turner episode, and it was fantastic. One of the best episodes you guys ever did. And, that was 3 years ago when we had him on. So anyway, that's really cool and something I really, really enjoy quite a bit. And before we get to Matt's good word, we did talk about our 200th episode being on the Sporting Clays range with the trophy at stake. And due to the scheduling issues of all of our cast members, that has yet to happen.
Yep.
But it will happen. And Matt will go down.
Will not.
Yeah.
Will.
They absolutely will not.
Yep. That's my prediction. I'm writing it's a bold prediction, by the way. It's very bold,
Extremely bold.
but we're gonna do it.
Prophesy.
Listen, I am gonna manifest. What is that? Is that what people say?
Yes.
I will manifest beating you at Sporting
Chet.
Clays
Yes.
again.
I will not tie this time.
That's
I will
right.
beat you, Matt. I'm manifesting.
Good luck.
Manifest.
That's all I got to say. Good luck.
All right. Well, you got a good word. Speaking of good, do you have a good word?
I do. And today's good word, Matthew 24, 6 through 30. Just kind of fitting. It's the first thing I kind of thought of. And it says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye not be troubled. For all of these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." And then it goes, into verse 7. "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes, and in all these places, and all these are the beginnings of sorrow." And then you move on to verse 13. It says, "But he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved." So you're going to see all these things and hear all these things and all these things going on. It just seems like the world's in a terrible, terrible place. But it's already been prophesied. It's already been decided. We know who wins. And if you're on that side, you win as well, even if you do lose this life. So don't lose hope. Trust in the Lord.
You got it.
That's the good word.
Amen.
Well, thank you for joining us on episode 200. Join us next week for episode 201. See you then.
Thanks for listening to the Hardheaded Podcast. Don't forget to share this podcast with others to help us get the word out.
Also, if you haven't yet, please rate and review the show. This helps our podcast show up in other people's suggested shows that may or may not have listened to us before.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.